Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video here on the podcast. Now, I was hoping that I'd have either Jacob or Sam on for this episode. However, both are currently busy at the moment, so I might have them for Jacob actually will not be available this week, but I might have Sam later on today. But I figured I'd take care of the newest poll for the AP poll, just making it a little bit simpler so that we can get to bed a little bit earlier rather than having to do all three. So anyway, the AP poll for NCAA football. Now, this will be actually the last time that we will be covering the AP poll because the next week will be the very first week of college football playoff rankings. Obviously, the college football playoff rankings always are released at 7 o'clock on ESPN on Tuesday nights. Unless it's the second, it's only the second week will be a little bit later, which will be at 9 because I'll be right in between the two State Farm Classics college basketball games, which brings me to a next point. In 2 weeks will be the season opener for college basketball. So we're going to do kind of pretty much the same thing that we've been doing for NCAA football. We're going to be just putting together a group of 20 games or so, maybe more if there's a lot of really good games that we want to put on there. Like this week for college football, we actually do have 25 again instead of the normal usual 20. So if there's like a lot of really good games, we'll put all of those on there. Otherwise, we'll just keep it to about 20. And if there's even less than that, we might do less than that. And we'll keep track of like our records throughout every single week, kind of like we did for NCAA football. Just our records are going to be massive compared to what they're going to be for this. So, we have in our next ranking video here. We might still look at the AP poll if we have like some extra time or something like that, just for the heck of it. But of course, when the playoff rankings come out, the AP poll is not going to mean anything. So this will be probably the last time you see us review the AP poll, or see me, of course, because I'm the only one here. But we start with number one, which is Georgia. Not really a surprise. This team was on bye last week. They were not playing, but this team is by far the best team in college football. They've played like it so far, and I see no reason as to why this team is not the number one team. And right behind them is number two, Cincinnati. They have their highest ranking. I mean, they stayed at number two, but this is still their highest ranking ever in school history. So if Georgia were to lose to Florida this week, which would be quite the surprise, but honestly, I would not be surprised to see it happen. It's a huge rivalry. I think Georgia's in for a fight. But anyways, for Cincinnati, they're having an outstanding season. I mean, they've been playing absolutely incredible football. We're able to take down Notre Dame on the road. Of course, Indiana looks like garbage, but they still beat Indiana on the road. So this Cincinnati team has some quality wins on the schedule, not to mention they still have to play SMU, who is currently also undefeated this season, later in the year. So very excited to see that game. But this Cincinnati team, Desmond Ritter, has been incredible for Cincinnati. They have been playing outstanding football. Really excited to see them when they go up against SMU very late this season. Number three, Alabama. That loss to Texas A&M did hurt them, put them back to number 5. But since then, they've jumped up. They jumped up to number 3 now. Alabama's an outstanding team. Honestly, I don't know what in the world happened to them against Texas A&M, but this is a very good Crimson Tide team. Their defense has really not looked good, and I think that's the only thing that kind of holds them back. But this Alabama team has a ridiculously good offense, and it's just more of, can that offense create enough plays, and can the defense get enough stops? And I absolutely think that Alabama has the offense to beat everybody in the country by like 30 points. Is just going to defense do enough for them? Number 4 is Oklahoma, who continues to just sneak by every single team they play. They're still undefeated, but it's not a good look for Oklahoma, especially this past week where they nearly lost to Kansas. Yes, they nearly lost to Kansas. So Yeah, not what you want to do, but Oklahoma still undefeated, and really at the end of the day, that's the more important. That's the most important thing is to keep an undefeated record, especially when you're trying to make the playoff. I'm curious to, honestly, I'm very curious to see what happens when those playoff rankings come out, because obviously we have a couple big time matchups this week, but that is going to be really curious to see where teams are come when those playoff rankings come out. I bet you Cincinnati is going to be something like number 5 or number 6. They're not going to be in the top, or honestly, I don't think they'll be in the top 5. I think they'll be like 6 or 7 or something like that. Just a disrespect to Cincinnati, but you never know. Number 5, Ohio State, staying where they were from the previous week. They were on by their. No, they weren't on. Well, wait. Were they on? No, they were not on by. No, they played Indy. Oh, Indiana is a bye, but they played Indiana. They smoked them, and this Ohio State team is not looking like the same team that lost to Oregon early in the year. They are playing extremely good football. They've been significantly better since that home loss to the Ducks, and they've been on a tear since then. And no one's really seemed to have an answer for the Buckeyes. The defense is still kind of sluggish, but that offense continues to be absolutely potent. And then you have the Michigan Wolverines, our very own Wolverines, sitting at number 6. They are still undefeated, still undefeated. Don't know if that'll last very long, as they have you, as you can see right there, number 8 in the country, Michigan State. That'll be an interesting game, but the Wolverines have a solid team. This is a great Michigan team. Of course, they're already bowl eligible, but this is a outstanding Michigan team. They've been playing great football. Of course, they haven't really played that many great teams, but they also have been winning pretty handily for the most part. Outside of that Nebraska game and that the Rutgers game, but that was a really bad game. Anyways, Michigan has been playing very good. I think this is definitely 100% where they should be. Number 7, Oregon, getting a unique win against UCLA after they were down 14-0, went on a 34-3 run, and then nearly blew the entire lead. So they still won. That was the important part. But big win there for Oregon. They get to number 7. This is a great Oregon team. Really, no CJ Verdell is going to hurt for them, but this Oregon team can play. And then at number 8, as I said earlier, you have Michigan State. Michigan State is really playing well this season. I'm very surprised. This is one of the biggest surprises to me this season. Well, no, this is the biggest surprise this season is how well Michigan State has played. I think many people could make the same argument for Michigan and how good they've been, but Michigan State I think is easily the biggest surprise of the year so far. Still undefeated, of course. They have Michigan this week. That'll be a bloodbath, and you'll see what our picks are for the game. You might think we're all picking Michigan, but we are Michigan fans. We know that it could go very poorly, so you'll get to see what we pick when we pick it. But this is a very good Michigan State team. They've been playing absolutely outstanding football. Spartans have been playing their best football in quite a few years. Number 9 is the Iowa Hawkeyes at 6-1. That Purdue game was terrible, and they had a bye to think about it, and now they're on the road in Camp Randall against Wisconsin. This is a huge game for Iowa to try and keep to hold their grip on the Big Ten West. So this is a huge one for the Hawkeyes. They need to win this one. This is a solid Iowa team. I don't think I've ever seen an Iowa team that is bad per se. Is this Iowa team? I think they were number 2 in the country, of course, and they lost. Is this Iowa team a top 10 team? I wouldn't say that, but this is still a solid Iowa team. They're always a great team. They always are up there. They always have a great record. So this Iowa team is solid. I still think, though, they're the best team in the Big Ten West. This is one of the better Iowa teams this season. Number 10 is Ole Miss, who is the exact opposite of Iowa. The Iowa team has all defense, no offense. Ole Miss is all offense and absolutely no defense. Ole Miss 6-1. Matt Corral, obviously outstanding quarterback. They're actually one vote behind Iowa for number 9. Interesting there, but Ole Miss, the Rebels, are very good. Really, it's all about the offense. Will the offense score enough points to win them the game? Because they're not going to certainly stop anybody. So, Ole Miss, really good team. Definitely not surprised to see them in number 10. I think it's definitely fitting. Number 11, Notre Dame. They have only one loss, being the Cincinnati. This Notre Dame team has kind of basically escaped every single week. And well, they keep winning, so that's once again the important part. Number 12, Kentucky. Their only loss being the Georgia. This Kentucky team has been playing great football this season. They've also been very good. So once again, I am not really surprised by this one. Kentucky definitely deserving to be here. Number 13, Wake Forest, 7-0. I think this is Wake Forest playing their best football since 1944 or something like that. It's been a while. Let's just say it has been a while for the Demon Deacons to have this good a season, and really, it's awesome to see that Wake Forest playing outstanding football. Right now, competing with not currently, but in the conference, obviously in a war with NC State. So that will be big time for Wake Forest when that game comes around. That should be a good one. Number 14, Texas A&M, 6-2. They have jumped themselves back into the top 25 after beating Alabama and getting a couple wins after, and now are 14th in the country. So good job, Texas A&M. This is a good team. Obviously, without their starting quarterback, it kind of hurt things for them, but Zach Calzada came in and made some plays and has led them back to number 14 in the country. I mean, that's a sign of what is a solid quarterback, I think. Number 15, Oklahoma State. They dropped their first they dropped their first game of the season. Their first loss being to Iowa State. Oklahoma State dropped 7 spots from number 8 to number 15. This Oklahoma State team has nothing to be ashamed of. Iowa State was expected to be a very good team. They dropped out after a couple of losses. This Iowa State team is a good team. It's also hard to win in Ames. Oklahoma State has nothing to be ashamed of. Not a bad loss in any means whatsoever. So I think Oklahoma State fans, they shouldn't be too upset. Not exactly a game as let's say it's not a bad loss. I mean, you lost by 3 points to a good Iowa State team. Anybody could do that, and So for Oklahoma State, this is an outstanding team. Really impressed that they even got to number 8, but they finally take their first loss of the year. Now we have Baylor at number 16. This team's been playing very good as well. Their only loss being to the team right above them, Oklahoma State. Baylor's got a solid team. Don't really know too much, honestly, about the Baylor Bears. So we'll see them play this week against Texas. So that should be an interesting game to see how they play against their big-time rival. And below them is another shocking team this season, the Pittsburgh Panthers, who are number 17 in the country. Pickett has been playing outstanding for the Panthers and has really been the reason why this Panther team is doing this well. And they're 6-1. Their only loss, for some reason, being to Western Michigan. Don't understand that one, but 6-1, 17th in the country. They jump up 6 spots this week. Good jump there for the Pitt Panthers. This is a solid team. I did not expect to see this out of Pittsburgh, but they are proving to be a great team. Auburn I am really fumbling around here. Auburn at number 18, 5-2. I'm not an Auburn fan. Arkansas really fell off a cliff. That's the only reason that Auburn got into the rankings is because they beat Arkansas when they were on a downfall. This is an unspecial Auburn team. I don't really like them. I don't really like this ranking either. SMU, number 19 at 7-0. Here's a team that should be higher. SMU's been playing great football. They've been playing really well this season. SMU's looking very good this year. I think they should be way higher than 19th. Penn State, after a really disappointing loss to Illinois in 9 overtimes. Yeah, 9 overtimes. Personally, I think the whole changing of the NCAA overtime rules is a little bit stupid because I remember watching the Texas A&M LSU game before they integrated all the 2 point conversion stuff. And I was up watching that game like 5 hours or something like that. Just would not end. But that game was good. That was a fun game. Obviously, I think like after that game they decided to change it, and they changed it to in the first 2 overtimes it's just normal. You start from the 25-yard line, you drive for a touchdown, you kick the extra point in the first 2 overtimes. Third overtime is you score a touchdown, you have to go for two, and then after that it's just alternating 2 point conversions. I agree with that. I think that would be perfect. But instead, they've changed it to be an overtime ahead, and I'm like, that's just lame. I don't really like that whatsoever. But that's my personal feeling on that. But that Penn State Illinois game, my gosh, that was awful to watch or listen to as I was at work when I was listening to that. Oof. 9 overtimes. Illinois finally won in Happy Valley and upset the number 7 ranked Nittany Lions, and dropped them 13 spots to number 20. Penn State, bad game, right ahead of their game against Ohio State. I think it possibly could have really been them looking ahead, but either way, an ugly loss on Penn State's resume and takes them out of playoff contention. Number 21, San Diego State. Brady Hoke's team is still undefeated, and they have their big rivals of Fresno State this week, so that should be an interesting game. San Diego State, really, I don't really know much about the Aztecs. The only thing I know is that they beat Utah in triple overtime. So that's the only thing I know about San Diego State, and they have a decent team, so I guess they have a decent team. They play in a not special conference, so no one really knows. But number 22 is Iowa State at Iowa State is in at number 22 at 5-2. So this Iowa State team after that upset against, or I guess technically win against Oklahoma State. I guess it technically wasn't an upset because Iowa State was favored by 7. I really don't know why. That's why I picked them I picked Oklahoma State for a shocker, but they fell short. So Iowa State, this is a solid team. I am not surprised to see Iowa State being here at 5-2 and number 22. I thought they'd have a much better year, but it had a slow start, of course, and well, now we're back in the top 25. Number 23 is a really shocking team, UTSA, who's still in the top 25. I can promise you they will not be in the playoff rankings. But UTSA 8-0, 23rd in the country, solid actually season for them. I mean, they play nobody, but they have not lost yet. And number 24 is Coastal Carolina after their first loss of the season, an upset against Appalachian State. I really thought about taking the Mountaineers. I did not. I really regret that. But this is a good Coastal Carolina team. They've been playing well. Appalachian State obviously has a solid team. And then number 25 is BYU, the only other team outside of Iowa State to jump into the top 25 this week. BYU had 2 straight losses to Boise State and Boise State and Baylor. They lost to Boise State and Baylor back-to-back weeks. Went on the road to play the Washington State Cougars, won by 2, and now are back in the top 25 ahead of their game at home against the Virginia Cavaliers. That should be a really good one. But that's it for me, and that's it for this top 25. You can see some of the teams that are currently getting votes. We don't do the coaches poll, but you can see some of the teams getting votes. You got Arkansas, Louisiana, NC State, Houston, Virginia, who we were just talking about, Oregon State, Arizona State, Texas, Appalachian State, Florida, Minnesota, and UCLA. So that's all we have for this top 25 video. I appreciate y'all for watching. You guys all have a good one. Of course, you always know we always have the latest video and other college football episodes, and you can also subscribe to the channel. Please like, share, subscribe, do it all. Thank you everyone for listening. Until next time, adios, everyone.